Happy New Year. This is Mark Wu. I'm your tag lead and also a lucky Tableau Visionary. Unfortunately, today our speaker Mike Roberts is sick. He cannot present. So him and I, we swap. I planned this presentation for next month. Now I'm presenting it today. For those who are coming here only looking for Mike's presentation, you're not interested in Tableau permission at all, I'm sorry, feel free to drop. But if you would like to learn or refresh Tableau's permission, this is a deep dive permission, good for Tableau or Cloud site admins and also project leaders, project owners, project admins. This topic is again the Tableau permission deep dive for Cloud server admins, project leaders, project owners. Let's get started. Happy New Year. Welcome to Tableau server and the Cloud admin tag. My name is Mark Wu. I'm the tag leader and also Tableau Lucky Visionary. My topic today is Tableau permission deep dive. For better recording quality, everyone is muted during this whole session. Please submit your questions by clicking the QA button. Again, this is community event. Everyone is set up to be able to offer your answer in the QA. Feel free to chime in the QA, offer your answers. I think I will stop by a couple of times to answer some quick questions. I will leave some dedicated time, 10 minutes or so at the end. This is Tableau permission deep dive. When I think Tableau server permission, two words came up. One is very robust, and next one is also very confusing. If you feel that certain things you don't quite understand, about Tableau permission, you are not alone. Let's see together we can help you to understand better today. First, let's understand Tableau Cloud or Tableau Server, the basic building blocks for permission purposes. If you're using Tableau Cloud, you have a site, or you may have multiple sites with a new feature. Again, it's ballpark is same as Tableau Server architect, but you are accessing one of few sites if you are using Tableau Cloud. And within each site, there are, of course, users, groups, and projects. Every single content of Tableau has to be within the project. No matter data source, workbook, flows, views, whatever metrics has to be in a project. And each project, we call top level project, may have many multi-levels of sub-projects. Okay, site conceptually is a partition. Is pretty solid partition. At this point in time, nothing can be shared across sites. Project, on the other side, is more like a bucket or folder to organize your content and also enable more self-service because the project level permission or project leader special privilege, which we'll talk more later. Let's dive into each level, site, project, content from permission perspective. First of all, site rule. Each user has to be within a site. Each user has to have a site rule. A site rule can be a viewer, can be explorer, can be a creator, can be explorer, can publish, which become more and more creator those days, especially if you are using Cloud. And that can also be admin, site admin. Okay. A side rule is more like a maximum privilege a user is allowed to have for the site. Very often I got a question from a publisher saying, hey, I have a side rule as a creator, but how come I cannot publish to a particular project? Well, a side rule is a maximum privilege. You are able to publish if you're a creator, publish a new content. However, you may not be allowed to publish to every single project. So this is where the project level permission comes in. Okay, that's a side rule. If you are not having a creator or explorer can publish side rule, for example, if your side rule is explorer, you can never publish to a site. Even a particular project leader gave you the publish permission to the project, you cannot publish the project. Basically, you don't have a site rule. A maximum privilege is capped. One example I can give more like a site rule is more like someone's working permit in US. Sorry, a working, so we call working permit, legal right to work in US. Like if I have a green card, I am a US citizen, I have my legal working right in US. But I may not just go to Meta, go to Google, and go to Amazon, work for them. I still need my offer letter. More like offer letter is more like project level permission to publish or not. My legal work right in US controlled by government is more as a maximum privilege I have in US as a side rule, more like that. So that's a side rule versus project publishing permission. Now, on the project level, there are more than publishing permission. Of course, that's a most important is who can publish to my project. Okay, who can publish? And you can have, of course, a user group, right? And next is who is the admin of the project? Again, Tableau changed the terminology a little bit. Used to be called project leader, now called project admin. But pretty much it's the same thing, it's just terminology change. So in my talk, I will use project leader, project admin, more like interchangeable, same, but it means same thing. Okay. When I say project admin, means project leader. If you're used to the project leader. When I say project leader, it also means project admin. But it is different from project owner, which I'll talk more later. Project owner is different than project admin. I'll talk about difference. So the project level, when setting, to show the setting, you need to go to the project and project tabs, projects tab, as you can see right now, okay? Now, only, of course, only if you are project leader, you can go to this tab, okay? Beyond that, as you can see on the right side, there are other tabs, workbooks, data source, data rule, flow, metrics. Those defines the default permission. A default permission when a content is published to this project. For example, the workbook level permission defines default permission when a new workbook is published to this project. Again, in most of the cases, and in all the cases actually, if Jack publishes a new workbook to a folder, to a project, Jack is the owner. unless it's locked, which I'll talk more later on. Other words, Jack as a workbook owner, he can change the permission of the workbook during the publishing or after publishing. Okay, but before he makes any changes, what is the default? Default comes from here, project level, workbook tab, similar for data source and so on. Now, the content level, when I say content means workbook, data source, flows, metrics, and so on. That's what I call content. Actually, the permission is controlled at the content level. Who does what? As user, as whatever, who does what, okay? One, this is confusing even from from beginning. One small feature, I call it the small big feature, or the smallest biggest feature, is back to almost 2 years back, 2020.1 version. I don't know how many people are leveraging this, but this is a super big feature actually. But there's only one small little change makes a lot of difference from permission perspective, makes locking much more robust than before. Although this is not new, but I just want to highlight for those who have not really leveraged it yet. When you click lock project permission, again, only the project admins or owners can do this. You have option to apply a locking to the nested projects or not. When you say apply, it means, let's say I'm locking a sales project. A same permission will apply to all the other. If I select apply to nested, it applies to all the others, directors, partners, stores, all level down, completely locked. Okay, this if I choose so. Okay, again, this if I choose customizable, I can even also lock the lower level. I'll show you. Okay, each project can be controlled independently. I can set up this way. So what it means? Sales level is locked, but does not apply to nested. In the direct project, which is one level lower than sales, I lock it as well, but it is locked with a different permission set as sales. Think about that. And the level 3 store as a project is also locked, but a different setting. You have tons of flexibilities. I know this is too dry, but give you example. For example, you have a project where you wanted to lock permission because majority of the workbooks should follow the same permission. To simplify the permission process, you just want to lock for most. However, there are some other workbooks should have different permission. So you don't want to lock everything. You want to lock 80%, but 20% give flexibility. How you can do that? Well, this is one setting example you can go. You lock the parent level, but do not check the apply to nested. Okay? Do not check that. So for people, 80% is publishing to the dev project. For 20% that want to flexible, just publish to others. This is one way you can go. You can go to another way, achieve 80% consistency, simplified. You can lock others, okay? And for whatever publishing to others project, they just locked, permission locked. You don't need to worry about the permissions. The publishers don't need to worry about the permissions. Then for the 20% of workbooks that you want them to use slightly different permissions, you publish to the dev project. another example. Okay, and again, this can be each nested sub-level project permission can be locked differently. Remember that. Just recap. I know this can be still confusing for you to digest. To recap, each sub-project can be locked independently. That's the key thing. That is the key thing, lock. Now let me talk about when the permission is locked, how do I set a permission for publishing? This is another place where it can be confusing. I got email from my publishers from time to time. Let me ask you, okay, now this is my setup. I have a 3-level project setup, sales, east, west, whatever. And west, we have a California CA project, we have other projects, okay? Let us say this is your setup and you wanted to have John being able to publish to CA project. You want John to publish to CA project. What is the permission John has have? That's the question. What is the permission John has have to be able to publish to CA project? Think about that. What is the permission you have to give? First, you have to give a view permission for the top level sales project. If you don't, the sales project is grayed out when John publish. It's grayed out that he cannot click to see the west, cannot click to see the CA. So first you have to give a view permission top. Also, you have to give a view permission for the west project. Sorry. Third, you need to give publish permission for the CA project. I know it's a lot of setup, but this is the way how it works. And of course, you have to give John the site rule, necessary site rule. Without site rule, creator or explorer can publish, John cannot publish anywhere, which I talked about at the beginning. Recap, to give a user or group publishing site rule creator and give them viewer permission for all the parents project and give them publishing permission for the sub project. It's the setup. All right, change the topic a little bit. Let's dive into project owner versus project admin. I talked about that at the beginning. What is the difference between project admin versus project leader versus project owner? Okay, again, this is a deep dive, okay? What specific privileges they have. First of all, I repeat, when I say project admin, I mean the project leader, because this is the terminology change from Tableau. It used to be called project leader, right now called project admin. Okay, they are same thing. Project owner is different thing, okay? Let's dive into project admin first. This is a question for you. Can project admin delete a project? Can a project admin delete a project? Anyone wants to chat me? Let me see. Let me see if anyone's answering any chat about that. Yes or no, yes or no. Can a project admin delete a project? Unfortunately, the answer is no. A project admin cannot delete a project. Can the project admin rename a project? Next question. Can the project rename the project? The answer is no. I know some of you say yes, it's no. This is where you need a project owner. Project owner has additional privilege than the project admins. What are the additional privilege as a project owner? Mainly two additional privileges. One is, as a project leader, this user can delete a project. Admins cannot. When I say admins, I'm talking about project admin. Of course, site admin can always. We're talking about project admins. Second, as a project owner, this user is able to rename a project. As a project admin, you cannot rename it. Those are only two privileges as I know as a project owner. So now you may ask question, who can be the project lead owner? Who can be the project owner? Okay, whoever creates the project becomes owner automatically. Whoever creates project become owner automatically. Think about that. Normally, who can create top level project? Only the admins. So as admin, when I say admin now, I'm talking about site or server admin. As a site or server admin, only we can create top level project. When we create top level project, we become owner automatically. If Mark creates a top level project, Mark becomes owner automatically. So the best practice is that if someone requests me to create a project for him, I will create a project and then later on, I change the owner to him. So he becomes the new project owner. So he can rename the project, whatever later on, if needed, he can even delete the project. I'm talking about top level project. All right, now let's dive into other common privileges between the project owner and the project leader. I'm listing 10 things, okay? We talk about only the number 10, create or delete. Okay. This number 10 is special privilege as a project admin, okay? When I say project admin, again, same as project leader. As a project owner, of course, has all this privilege as well. So this is a common special superpower for project admins and project owners. Change extracts refresh schedule for any extracts in the project. Modify any workbooks. Okay. Change data source username password. Can delete a workbook. Can change the permission of a workbook data source flows matrix. Can move a workbook from one place to another place, assuming this user has privilege to the target project as well. Can restore the old revision. Can lock, unlock. Can certify it. Can create or delete several projects. Now, number 10, let's talk about it. This is where potential confusion. Site admin or server admin can create top level project owner, can create top level projects only, okay? However, as a project admin or project owner, they can create a sub project. They can even delete a sub project. Okay, remember, they can, as an owner, they can delete the project their own parent, but they can also delete, if the owner of the sub project, they can even delete a sub project as well. So this is a 10 special privilege a project owner has. Let me see if there's any question. Project owner can also be one person. Yes, thank you, Joshua. You are right. Project owner can be only one person. A project admin can be a group, or can be multiple people, can also be a group. Very good point. Thank you. Let me see if there's quick questions at this point in time. Anything's not answered yet. Where we can see content permission setting. Where we can see content permission setting. What do you mean content permission? When I say content means workbook, the flow matrix. You just go to the workbook, you click that, you will see permission. Content permission. You want to see example of content permission? Okay, I can show you later. Eric has a question. Where does a content go if a project is deleted? Oh my God, very good question. Where does if a project has a workbook and when you delete the project, where the content go? Very good question. I have not tried that yet. If that's the case, I don't know if you are allowed to delete that. I never tried that. Very good question, Eric. Oh, you got me. I never tried that before, but this is a great question. I don't know if you're able to delete the project if the project has content. Okay, but good question. Very good question. I don't know that question. But I'll find out, Eric. Okay, let's move on next. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Hold on, let me just get this out of my way. All right, this is again a testing for you guys. Okay, I'm gonna move this very quick. We are halfway done. Try to again learn the difference between the add project admin versus project owner. Okay, recap more like add, delete project admins. Who can add or delete a project admins? The answer is both. Okay, next, who can delete the child subprojects? I give you 2 seconds to think about it, and I'll show you the answer. Both. Okay. Next, who can publish to the project? This is the easy one. Of course, as a project admin, they can publish as long as they have a publisher side rule. Okay. Now you may question this one. Why the owners? I don't need to put the side rule. Yeah, you try it. As a project owner, the minimum side rule is creator or explorer can publish. As a project leader, the minimum side rule is explorer, which is why I put this way. Next, publish to its child project. Okay. As a project leader, you can always publish, and as long as you have the side rule, publisher, you can always publish to the project and all its sub-projects. Okay. Next question. I say manage the content. I mean move, I mean delete. When I say content again means workbook, data source, flows, metrics, everything. Can project admins manage workbooks in the content, workbooks in the project? The answer should be yes, right? It should be yes. Next, can a project leader manage all the workbooks, flows, data sources in all the child projects? Okay, the answer is yes, yes. Can a project admins be a group, or can a group be a project admins? The answer is yes. Can a group be a project owner? I mentioned about this before. Also, someone mentioned in the chat. Can a group be a project owner? The answer is no. Just recap, the answer is no. Who can change the project owner? That's the next question. Who can change the project owner? The project owner was Mark earlier, and right now I want to change to John. Who can do so? Of course, site admins can do, but can a project admin does this? No. Can a project owner change the owner? Answer is yes. All right, next one. We talked about it already. Who can delay the project? Okay, the answer is clear. Oh, I do have another one. Just give you a recap. Rename. All right. Okay. Tell me if I get this wrong. This is my understanding of what's the difference between the project admin versus project owner, how it works. Next, I'm gonna dive a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna dive a little bit more. Project owner, I call the O. Project admins, I call L. Used to be project leader. Okay, let's say I have a user O1, O2, owner 1, a leader 1 there. So when I create a subfolder, CS select training, there automatically the parent level leader owners automatically become the leaders, or admin owner automatically become admins of sub projects, all the level automatically. It's called inherited project admin rule. Inherited. Automatically, the user Q01 becomes project admin for CS training / classes, all automatically. Similarly, let's say if you have a admin at a sub project, CS training, and you have an owner as well for this CS training, they become the project admin for the third level automatically. It's called inherit as well, similar. And of course, you can have separate additional admins and owners, admins and owner for the CS training / class. Okay. All right. Again, this is more like recap. Who can be the owner? Only, okay. Again, is that whoever creates a project becomes owner automatically by default. Remember, only site or server admins can create top level project. Okay. And once we create top level projects, we give the project owner to someone else. And this person can create several projects. He can add more admins to the projects. That's how it works. We talk a lot of things. I'm going to try to recap it, make it simple for you as more like taking away a few tips. Again, I'm recapping just for more clarity. Tip number 1, we as a side admins, cloud admins, we create top level project. We assign a project owner or project admins. We can do both. Okay. As owner of the project or as admin of the project, they can create several projects. Of course, they will manage workbook flows, metrics, permissions for their projects. Give them the project admin permission and allow them to manage their content fully, so they don't have to come to site admins, don't have to come to server admins. This is where the self-service will play. And this is where our server teams can scale as well. This is tip number 1, leveraging the project admin feature, and do give them the admin feature of the project. Second, teach your publishers, self-service publishers, to leverage the locking feature. Apply to nested or not, check or uncheck. Educate them. Each project can be locked independently. There are a lot of flexibilities this way. Leveraging the feature. For example, okay, log. When you're leveraging the feature applied to nested or not, you can log this way, like finance top level, finance senior leader, senior admin, finance analysts. You can log all of them, but different permissions. The finance senior adminship is only given to like 5 users to have access to dashboards. Your senior leaders, 5 people only. So anything published there is only for 5 people. And even the owners of the count of the workbook, they cannot change. Peace of mind. For example, where the finance analysts, you can give our finance department, you can give to many other people. Peace of mind. Or you can log this way. If 80% of content needs to go with one set of permission, you lock them, publish to that project, and another 20% give them flexibility, allow customizable permission setting to save time for the permissions. Okay. Now another thing, this is where I also often got a question. When they gave a permission to someone, later on the person is not able to see the dashboard. I don't know if you ever had this before. When they gave a permission to the user, and the user actually can end up with cannot see the dashboard. What happened? Very often, I see the issue was that they have a tabbed view on. So they have a tabbed view off. Sorry, they have a tabbed view off. So the permission of each view is controlled independently. That's not a best way to go unless you are super good. For most of the publishers, I strongly recommend use tabbed view. Let the view permission inherited from workbook. Let the view permission inherited from workbook. Should be this way when you check the permission for views inherited from workbook. The way to do this is you show tab view. Okay. To simplify your process, it's more like that. When I say show tab view, it's more like this. When you go to workbook, click the eye. Okay. Click the eye on the right side of the workbook, and you will see tab show. Okay. Making sure it's tab show, tab the view. Allow people navigate the views by clicking one tab by another tab. This way, the permission of the view is inherited from project. This way, when you set a permission, actually you are set permission for the whole workbook and every single view. Otherwise, you may end up with a situation where you actually give permission to a view, to a workbook, but the users access the view, but the permission is controlled independently. All right, tip number 6, to simplify the permission, also to make your content more manageable, recommend use data sources, publishing workbooks separately, and then data sources. One data source can be shared by multiple workbooks. So if you need to change something, you change your data source, apply to all the connected workbooks. One refresh changes all the connected workbooks. This way is better. Also easier for permission, less things to maintain as ongoing. Leveraging the published data source approach. In my organization, there are some public data sources, like they have like 40 or 50 connected workbooks. Very good, very efficient. leverage the new VCon, virtual connection, if you can. Virtual connection is more like centralized password as well. In the old way, on the left side, in the old way where you have to do for one data source, you can have publish for one tab, one like MySQL or Teradata, for example. Each of them, you have multiple public data sources connected to. Okay, and if you leverage the new VCon virtual connection feature, you can have one virtual connection, have your password embedded in a virtual connection, and then for that, from a virtual connection, you can build data sources. You can build workbooks. So what's the benefit? What's the use case? One use case for virtual connection is that when you change the password for data source, when data source means Oracle, MySQL, and so on, you change it once in the virtual connection. You don't need to change. There's no more database password in the workbook in the published data source anymore. You change it once, and everyone else got to change it. Imagine that 20 publishers share the same database. The database password needs to be changed next week. It has been a nightmare try to talk with all the 20 publishers, change the password almost the same time. If some of those not changed, guess what? The refresh after a few times may lock database permission and may lock the database password. That can cause problems for others as well. All right. Just recap, we talked about site rule, okay, as a maximum privilege. We talked about the project level permission, who can publish to my project, who is the project admin, and of course, who is the project owner. We also talk about difference between the owner and the admins of the project. Mainly the owners can delete a project, or project owners can rename the project. All the rest are same as project admins, which they all have a lot of privileges. And on the right side, at the project level, different tabs, workbook tab, data source, data rule is not leveraged yet, flow metrics. Those are the default permissions when a content is published here. Okay, default permission. If the data source, new data source published, it defaults from the data source tab. If this project is locked, that's it. Owners, the content owner cannot change permission of the content. If not locked, defaults from here, and the content owner can still modify the permission during the publishing and also after publishing. At the content level, it truly controls who can do what. Okay. One clarification, a user, we talk about end user, is able to access the content, workbook, dashboard, without any project level permissions. End users that don't need any project level permissions. As long as the end users have a workbook permission, they are able to access the workbook. They don't need to access the project level permission. All right, we talk about that. Move on. We talk about this as well. These things repeat. Now, if you don't know yet, this is something can be it's very useful, very useful. Effective permission. Okay, effective permission. Often I'm asked, hey, why this user does not have access to these things? The best way to go is, okay, if this is available by the workbook level, from project level, view level, go to the particular project, either project or let's say workbook, go to the particular workbook you will see there is an effective permission there. This is a place where you can search given a user or given group to understand exactly what is the effective permission. Okay, it shows below. Just be aware, the privileged users also list here, override. Just be aware, okay? Overrides. The side rule will come in overrides as well. Okay, means even at the workbook level, you allow this person to override your workbook. Okay, however, if this person does not have the publisher side rule, this person cannot override. It will show you here. This is where the all effective permission comes in. Just very nice, easy way for you to understand truly what this user or what this group has from permission perspective. It automatically applies all the side rules and permission together, show you what is the true permissions this user group has. This is where effective permission is, but I don't think we have time to dive into the users versus groups. But I do have a chart how this works together. Mainly, if I do a quick, when there is a conflicting between user and group for permissions, user takes over. Okay, let's say this user you gave you gave conflicting versus this user is also in the group. There are permission different. User takes over. Okay. When there's a deny versus allow, deny takes over. Basically, those two rules. User takes over. Groups deny takes over allow. Put this way. All right. Also, you can use additional rule level security. This is a separate talk I had before. Just recap. Mainly, I see most people using. When they're using additional rule level security, mainly three functions is member of, username, or contents. Okay, all three is good, and feel free to use combination of all three together. Just for the contents username is concatenate the username together. Any database guys will tell you, don't do the concatenation for the strings performance slow, but for some reasons, Tableau rule level security contents feature concatenation performance is pretty good. All right, I'm gonna leave here. Matrix is a new permission. If you did not ever notice before, there is a matrix permission specifically added to solve the potential matrix permission cascading. If you're not aware yet, this is the new feature. As admin of the site, that means you decide to turn enable metrics or not. But once enabled, you will see there's a for any given workbook there is a metrics permission. Do you want your workbook have a metrics or not? Last slide recap, and then I'll have time for QA. Project admin oversees all the content in the project with super power. Okay. Let's put slides mode. Number 2, use nested project. Leverage that, and locked permission if possible. There are flexible ways to lock permission now with the small lit flag. Teach your publishers to use the effective permissions to verify what is the final permission a user or the group has. That's all I have today. I do have 10 minutes to answer the questions. Okay. Let me answer questions. Try to get a question list. Mouse is not very effective one. Maybe I should stop the sharing. I'll stop the sharing anyway, so I can be I can see the better for the question list, QA list. All right, where's the QA list? All right, this way is better. Where we can range it, where we can set project admin setting at the project level, where we can set a project admin setting at the project level. I think you go to the, if you're admin, you go to the project, the project tab is right there. Okay, right there, project tab. Melody. Where will the workbook go when the workbook deleted? I don't know the answer. I'll try to find out. Maybe you're not allowed to delete the project if the project has content. Maybe can someone find out? I need to try it. Can publish, this is from Praveen. Can published data source share between projects and a site? Yes. Published data sources can be shared across multiple projects within a site. You are right, can be shared. Okay. Aaron, Mark, other than manually changing content permissions, is it possible for those permissions to be changed somehow by the system? The system server will not change the permissions, as per my understanding. Can someone come in one day and see their workbook permission changed without manually or admin interactions? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. When people have this kind of question, most likely either site rule changed. Remember, site rule will impact people's permission, or the group member changed. They were in this group before, the group has permission, now they were not in certain group anymore. Likely those things I see some examples. Or third can be this user never has permission, although he think he has. Or can be the workbook changed from tabbed view versus not tabbed view. Okay, can be that. A few possible reasons. Ask me more if you have more specific examples. Another question, how do we audit permission change? How do we audit permission change? This is an awesome question. Tableau is very silly. Until now, until 22.3, you cannot audit permission change. Very, very silly. Tableau's permission tables do not have timestamp. Still today, it does not have timestamp. However, 22.3, if you have the server management add-on, 22.3 has a new feature called events log. This is the first time they will have additional events auditing capability. One of those is Tableau permission change. It's not straightforward to use it yet. First of all, you need to have a server admin add-on, and also secondly, the events log 22.3 feature will write the log into S3 bucket. Again, not the Postgres. They are not just giving the permission table timestamp. No, you write additional events into S3 bucket and try to get the log auditing from there. So it's not straightforward, but it's one step forward. Very good question. Okay, can we audit permission changes? Now the answer is yes, or not easy. That is doable. Okay, prevent. Where we can find the session recording? The session recording will be in a Tableau channel, your YouTube channel. You Google it, you will find it, YouTube channel. Then, is there a way to export a site-wide permission applied to all content? Okay, Is there any way to export a site-wide permission applied to all content? What I do is that I do have, I use the read-only username, read-only Postgres user. I create my permission auditing. I can share with you actually in my blog. I shared a workbook already. There is a workbook, permission workbook. Okay, if you're a server admin, if you have own server, I don't know how to do it in the cloud yet. If you have own server, you can use Postgres read only. You can create a dashboard shows all the permissions for all the workbooks for your whole site, whole server. That's doable. Another question: is any table in Postgres that concatenate Tableau extension usage? I was asking the same thing. Tableau extension. Okay. Can we see a Tableau extension usage? Not easy. If someone find out, let me know. I asked this question to my team, and we thought we found something, and then based on what we saw before for extension, we came to a conclusion where this particular extension is never used by anyone. We did something, retired, later on I got blamed. The team has been using the extension. So maybe what I had was not correct. So this is not easy. Let me put it away. It's not easy. Extension usage is not very straightforward. But if anyone has tricks to find out Tableau extension usage, share it to the community. Any other questions? Can we delete the project any other questions anyone has? The only question I have not answered is, can we delete the permissions? Where the content go if I delete the project? Let me try it right now. Okay, just bear with me for 1 minute. I should be able to find out. I want to find out if I'm able to delete a project at all, if there is content. Okay, let me try it right now. I just try to delete something. Okay, I deleted a project. Actually, it has a content. It's my test environment. Where the content go? Let me. Okay, I'm not going to share with you. It's my test environment, but let me see this content. Okay, I'm deleting another project. My test environment. So first of all, Tableau allows me to delete a project that has a content. Okay, I'm going to delete that. Where it goes, maybe the content is deleted as well. Let me see if content moved to default. If not, it means deleted. That's simple. That's simple. It is deleted. If I delete a project, the content in the project is also deleted. That's my conclusion. If I delete a project, the content in the project is also deleted. That's my conclusion. That's how I see it right now. Yeah, that's how I see it right now. You like it or not, that's how it works. Which is why only the project owner can delete the project. All the workbooks, flows, everything in the project will be deleted if you delete the project. Ben, can vcons be made to data source using Tableau Bridge? I don't know Tableau Bridge. Sorry, Ben. Why Tableau does not have recycle bin? If you need to restore it, we have to restore the whole backup. Where should be a better way to restore content? If the content is deleted, There's no way to restore it. You're right. There's no recycle bin. That's a feature asking a long time, which is where we need to educate our publishers. Be responsible. If you truly want to delete, you delete. Otherwise, don't delete. If you delete, it cannot be restored. All the previous revisions also got deleted. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. Yeah. No easy way to restore. There's no restore. You can, if you are able to find it from, for example, DR, you publish, that become a new workbook, new ID. It's not truly restored. I think I got all the questions answered. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And I'm sorry for Mike. He will present next month for the topic. I got the last question came in. Is it a better way to use project admin rather than the owner? Yes, use admin is better. Admin, of course, so first of all, they cannot delay the project. Also, admin can be a group. Yeah, use admin if you're concerned people may delay the project. And also, the good thing about admins is that if you assign one person admin, he can add more admins by himself, self-service. So he does not need to bother you anymore as a side admin. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you very much, Kelly.